antisocialnews.com, and this is the body count report for Wednesday, August the 30th, 2017. First, I'm going to talk about a justice story. Part of the fight for human life around the world is showing people that would kill humans indiscriminately that is not okay. And one such situation of somebody escaping justice for killing a police officer in Bangkok in a hit and run is the heir to the Red Bull fortune. And message out of Interpol is not going to get away with it, and they're hunting him down. So good for them. Hope Thailand sees some justice here. And we're going to move on to one of the biggest world news stories at the moment, especially here in the United States of America, which is the floodwaters in Houston. Now, as you know, I normally avoid American news because America covers its own news pretty well. And I like to focus on world stories, but this is actually out of Jerusalem Post, and it's about an Israeli-American family in the Houston floods. So learn about some of the situation that Israeli immigrants have to face down there, and how the community is coming together, including the Orthodox Synagogue of Houston. So check this out. Interesting story out of Jerusalem Post. Most people don't think about getting kosher food in a flood. They just think about getting food in general. So an extra level of interest in this story on my part, and I hope you enjoy it. Link is in the description below. Moving on to West Africa, where we have another story about flooding and natural disaster. Liberian woman in Sierra Leone fears another mudslide might kill the rest of her family. This is a heartbreaking story, and it does show you kind of the night and day difference between a first world country dealing with floods versus the West Africa, which is heartbreaking, but there is a much deadlier situation due to the lack of infrastructure in certain areas, and just the land giving away, which is what's causing these mudslides. So read this story. Try to empathize. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And this is from the Liberian Observer. Check it out. Link in the description. And this is from Korea, the Korea Times. Such a great picture. I mean, this picture just sums it all up right here. Asia is pissed at North Korea. So North Korea is threatening a lot of people, and you got Moon and Shinzo Abe. Moon from Korea and Shinzo Abe from Japan are really, really angry at North Korea going way too far and shooting a missile over Japan. So we are looking at China said it's working with its members. So China's trying to be kind of the whoa, everybody calm down. And South Korea and Japan are just ready to do everything they can to let North Korea know how dead North Korea is going to be if they try anything. And then, of course, America's position is always well known from our tweeter-in-chief. So keep an eye on this story, and as I always tell people, go to koreatimes.co.kr for your Korea news. Do not look at everything through the prism of American politics. Check it out. Yes, I know I just said American politics, but try to avoid that when you're looking at this very serious story. Here's another one out of West Africa. Togo court jails 15 anti-government protesters. Now, this is a This is a human rights issue out of francophonic country Togo in West Africa. Now, one of the questions that I bring up here is that the French government has been a supporter of the Nsingbe dynasty for decades. So I'm wondering if they're still supporting this guy and his family, and this dictatorship that is trying to quash protest in their country. If they're still supporting this, and if so, why? So I think the world community needs to be paying attention to support for despotic rule in West Africa, which is still going on. All right. Speaking of supporting despotic rule, we have the U.S. blasting the deal that Lebanon cracked with the Islamic State, basically supporting the Islamic State and treating them as if they were a 100% legitimate government to work with in the area, and it's pretty troubling and pretty aggravating to see. Now, Lebanon has a very bizarre relationship with terror because they kind of have Hezbollah, a Shia terror group, as a country within a country in Lebanon, and then ISIS is of course a Sunni terrorist group. So they already have kind of a legitimacy. They hand out legitimacy to terrorists a lot in Lebanon, and I get that it's probably because the government is outnumbered by people that would rationalize that they are on the side of Sunni or Shia terror. But still, these scumbags should never be validated because their existence is contrary to the survival of our species. So I would like to see less radicalism and more invalidating their causes and their beliefs, and seeing regional governments do crummy stuff like this is just scary. All right, this is Sully for the Body Count Report, and please like and subscribe. If I showed you a news story that you had not seen, I think I earned that subscription. So go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Toss a like or a dislike. Comment why you like or dislike, and I will see you tomorrow.